also an office building, a revolutionary office building as we like to call it. So this will be the lens from which I will be answering questions. So a family office and also office investor and developer. Thank you.
Καλησπέρα to everybody. It's really nice to be seeing a full group. My name is Alex Skouras. I'm a real estate developer. I'm the managing partner of Alcedor. We are present in the market, actually one of the decades since 2003 that we came here. And we are focused on creating communities and more than happy to exchange ideas and pick everybody's brains in that direction. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anca Mendescu. I'm head of investment for Romania at MCOR, and I'm very happy to be here with you this evening. MCOR is a family office with over 35 years of experience, active in 6 countries, the UK, Germany, France, Spain, Poland, and Romania, and managing nearly 7 billion euro in assets. Our business model focuses on essential, convenience-based retail, which are resilient formats that serve well the local communities and adapt easily to the consumer behavior. In Romania, we entered in December 2023, and we are, and I think we've been recognized in various contexts as being one of the most active investors in the market.
Good evening, my name is Darius Victor. I am the sales director at Belmont. Belmont, which is a part of the Altron Group, formerly known as Metav. We are active in all segments in the real estate market, like retail, residential real estate, Horega, and all of the one mentioned. At the moment, we are focusing on delivering house projects near Bucharest, in Vipera. We are in the process of doubling the number which we already have in constructions, and I'm very happy to be here with you tonight.
Hello, this is on, it's working. Hello, my name is Tyler Toplinski. I'm a partner and head of construction of Intera Property Development. We are a family company, been here since 2007, and real estate developers since 2019. Currently, we have 2 projects under development. One's in Zona Pajure, and another one's in Obor, Piazza Obor. It was the old Versa pump factory. We have another project planned for the next couple of months here in Tunat, and a project in Otopen. Thank you for coming, and I look forward to speaking with all of you.
Thank you, everyone. Because I have the clock, which is in 35 minutes, I will kindly ask you not to try to be as short as it is possible. And based on everyone description, I will start with that. Okay? So, what makes Romania stand out when competing for international capital in the regional real estate market?
Romania is without question the market to grow in. And I think this is the key pillar in the MCOR's strategy. Romania is competitive because of a mix of 2 things, I would say, the offered opportunities and the solid economic fundamentals. Romania is the 2nd largest country in CE by population. It has a GDP growth above the EU average constantly. It has highly skilled and cost-competitive workforce. And last but not least, it offers actually 200 basis points at least in yields compared to markets in Poland and Czech. This creates, I think, significant real value that can be hardly matched in other countries, in more mature other countries or in Western core markets. We focus a lot on undersupplied retail infrastructure in the regional cities. We believe there is a high demand, and low competition, and that's why we see a lot of room for growth.
Thank you very much, Anna. Victor, because earlier you said that you activated all the real estate market. Yes. I have a question for you. What sectors do you think that, besides residential, logistic, retail, or other mixed use, do you see offering the strongest growth in Romania for the following years?
Well, in the following years, I strongly see that warehousing will be uprising due to the evolving of the e-commerce and the lack of spaces. Still, I still also residential as a growing market because at the moment we are still one of the most affordable markets in the CEE. So those will be the two segments which I strongly believe that will strongly grow.
So you will bet for logistics and for residential?
Yes, the two bets that I put on, yes.
Thank you very much, Victor. Tyler, you operate in a small or in a business, not small, but business company. How are rising construction and financing costs impacting your investment strategy here in Romania?
Overall, costs have been remaining pretty stable over the past couple of years, construction costs mainly. Financing costs have come down slightly, but remain, at decent levels. For us, it hasn't impacted construction, what we're doing in development so much. As long as, the fundamentals of the market in terms of demand of residential real estate remains high. We're seeing, we're selling lots of apartments. We have no issues selling our projects. We will actually, in fact, sell a large majority of our projects early on in the construction process, in the development process. So as long as the demand remains high, the profit margins also remain quite healthy, even with increasing costs. So overall, we're not seeing a huge impact. There's still plenty of margin in our development, and it's natural, and it's actually expected for the construction costs to increase with inflation. But as long as demand for those also increase at the same rate or maybe higher, we're still very comfortable with making the investment.
What do you think now with everything what is happening in the market today? We just saw war increasing from 5 and something at the beginning of the year to more than 7. This doesn't have any impact on the construction, on the financing for your project. Do you take in consideration this for the following projects? And also we have a war here, and probably in a few months we all hope that everything will be okay and this will stop. Then I think we'll have a problem with the materials and with the manpower. What do you think?
Yeah, you mentioned some great points there. These are things that we're always taking into account, and we're having meetings on a weekly basis with our board and our partners, and we're analyzing all the different things, including what's happening in America right now. This trade war is, something that we're paying very close attention to. We actually see that as a benefit somehow for Europe. We see that capital is, smart money is moving out of America somehow because they're seeing it as having the money, their capital deployed in America is somehow a higher risk. So that money is somehow moving into Europe, which could be a benefit for us. And that's what we're seeing with our investors as well. But for sure, the financing costs are increasing slightly. We're always paying attention to the war in Ukraine. We hope that war ends as soon as possible. But at the same time, we're very cognizant of the fact that if that war ends and Ukraine potentially joins NATO, we have to move very quickly to block some prices as much as you possibly can, given the company's cash flow. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I just read a notice saying that we have now another 18 months for finalizing all the projects for the infrastructure, everything where we have funds from the European. So when we talk about the infrastructure, what do you think regarding the project? How do you take into consideration this?
Related to your first question regarding the attractiveness of the investors in the Romanian market, there is a large interest in Romanian markets in the Schengen area and also the new funding accessibility. So regarding that plan, the following the business plan, national recovery, where we can access like 30 billion euros.
In 8 months in process.
Yes, but we hold it on the beginning.
Was approved.
Context, it will be implemented. So it is a real gain for our investors in order to develop our area. So in our case, that all our hope. We are investing in small and medium-sized cities and also in the rural areas, connected communities, and infrastructure in our business line is essential for easy access and interconnection between communities and larger cities. And for our clients, which are the international retailers, it's essential for them to access that kind of locations, which some of them are remote, but also they have a large demand there for modern retail. So it will be a plus regarding the infrastructure point of view, both in railways, highways, but also from transportation point of view.
Thank you very much. We had an election this weekend. We have now a new president who used to be the former, let's say, mayor of Bucharest, and we know everyone what was and what it is in Bucharest regarding the urban planning, regarding all the regulatory for real estate. And I will have a question for all of you, because I think this will be an impact for everything what means real estate. Are regulatory frameworks and urban planning process in Romania aligned with your long-term real estate development goals? Or not?
So it's indeed a very interesting point, and it's really nice to dive about what's happening. I will, of course, answer your question, combining it with one of your previous questions about Romania. I've 22 years in permanent in Romania doing business here, and besides the last numerous months, I didn't even know about who is in politics in Europe, because the country was going towards a very clear, straight direction. And the direction was pro-business, of course, we're talking about pro-EU and everything that, has been stability. Indeed, well, there have been worldwide numerous topics that they created, starting with the war, that was happening with the US, that was happening worldwide, that created several stability and questions. And a strong belief, as also was previously discussed by Anka, that Romania, a strong belief is very solid, and it showed it 2 days ago, even without the question marks and all discussions we were having the last weeks or the last months, that it's a country that it's stable, and it showed 1 million plus people showed their interest about what we are talking. They went to vote, and they showed that they are looking towards a direction, and I think it's very, very important. Going to your direct question about stability, I do not believe that what's happening nowadays is strongly aligned with all of our regions, but I do believe that there are several steps that they are done, and they have been happening in the last several years, decades, and it's shown this trend. I repeat and repeat, and I know what it means about instability and what it means about having a very clear directions forward. 10 years ago with our governance, it was a completely different product that all types of stakeholders, banks, they had this really mortgage product, and we were telling our clients to go to one of the very few banks that has really mortgages, and reading the bank didn't know to explain. Today, all the banks are going very actively supporting all types of sustainability towards all types of stakeholders, investors, developers, and users and mortgages. We're talking about even media. I remember myself having one of the main channels 10 years ago, and they didn't understand anything about sustainability, about going towards a direction that it has to do with a very clear goal and how the market will be directed, while now they are again very pro and we're having all this type of confidence towards the direction. So today, 10 years later, financing banks, local and state authorities are trying to go and give directions. So yes, we're not there yet where I'm sure we would all like to be, but clearly there are good steps happening. And personally, I'm optimistic that we will be reaching where we would like to be in several years.
Thank you very much. Anka?
Yeah, I think it was for sure a joy for everybody, the European ones. So we hope for the best. We have a long-term vision in the market. We are here to stay, and this is for sure a good sign, and it enforces our strategy.
But what about the regulation? What about the legislation? Then? We are now in 2025. If I remember well, in Bucharest, for example, they started to discuss about a new PUG in 2013. Okay, so we are 12 years later and we do not have a PUG. This doesn't. It's not only about Bucharest; it's about other cities or other parts of the country. This doesn't affect or the change in legislation. This doesn't affect your model, your business. How you interact with this?
Of course, faster permitting for a developer is always an important element. We were not that focused in Bucharest, so probably we did not take that situation that much up front in the last 1 year and a half since we are in the market. Yeah, I mean, faster permitting is one of the objectives that we aim for the future. We plan to double our portfolio by 2030. So this is one of the things that I think it will define a sustainable market and a well-performing one. So it's very important, and we hope we will move in that direction.
Thank you very much.
Yes, by far, we are all affected. Of course, as Anca said, it would be nicer if we would obtain the building permits faster and all this process would be smoother. We are also blocked. We were blocked in Bucharest because we have a compound project on Fabrica de Glucose of more than 750 units, which is already authorized, but we still don't push the pedal because there are some things that need to be solved in justice or in court. Well, in matters of legislation, I do think that many of the thoughts that were written in laws and regulations are good, but not in matters of how they work in relations with the developers. So, as we speak in matters of also laws, I don't have a problem with everything that's lately discussed regarding the advance payments, how we use the money from the clients. I think this will only can get us a cleaner, better market with strong developments and with less of, let's say, low players.
Fully agree with you. There are some modification in the legislation which is okay for us, okay? Because we develop with bank financing, and then you cannot take the money and use it for other projects or for other things. So yes, there are some good things here, but also I think everyone knows the emergency ordinance regarding the modification of law 350 and 50, which from my point of view, and I'm very curious about your opinion, from my point of view, for a short period of time, it would be not so good for the market. And I think maybe sometimes, and this is only of course my personal opinion, I think the people who start to modify a law, they should discuss with us, because we work with this every day, and we need to adapt to that.
Yes, totally agree with what you said, but keep in mind that at least the residential real estate is more of a sentimental anchor. So as long as when you choose a house for you to live in, you don't take into account all the regulation and stuff like that, and you go further with what you want. So as long as ownership is it's the most relevant thing in Romania. And this is something that you cannot take from us for the moment. Of course, there is a new wave of aspirational new buyers who want flexibility, but no, ownership will still remain resilient and will make a difference in the market.
Mirela, did the regulatory legislation have an impact on your business?
So, for the existing buildings, no. And for the one that has started construction, also no. If you're referring to the permitting process, I'm happy to see that the colleagues of the panel are very optimistic and very content with the way things are going. It's not as easy, and I think because if you're looking at what type of product you've got, so we are a company that has products within the city. So we have to speak to the city hall, we have to speak to the each district city hall, and I don't think it's a surprise if we say that things aren't smooth. And what's difficult about it is that if at least we knew exactly what to expect, then that would make it much easier. But we don't. So it's just a little bit of a gray area that we have to deal with. Not you, but we.
And I completely agree with you, but just to put those my 2 cents. I'm not crazy with this. And clearly I'm building into that in the last more than 10 years and building out of the city of the limits of Bucharest. So indeed I have not faced on this issue, and I'm sure they're happening. I was just trying to see, and because it was very recent, the elections and all the, I think, topics that all of us were having with our families, with our friends, with our partners, that Romania is a country that even though there's issues within Bucharest, and that it's a country that shows that it has been a stable country for investors. Is it ideal? No way. We are far away from being ideal, and hopefully we will work with your plan to evolve in this direction. But being green, knowing, for instance, the Helicon project, that is few of you know, is a project in Europe currently developing in Greece in the falls to the previous airport of Athens. €8 billion project. It was almost 2 decades blocked. 20 years blocked for what? The biggest project which is currently developed in Greece, which is completely transforming not only Athens, the entire country. And we were blocking it as we in Greece. 20 years. So this is what I'm trying to show on my notes on the optimism, and it showed on Sunday that yes, clearly we have many issues. We have discussed them numerous times about all these issues that we have been facing the last few years, so we all know this is what's happening. But I strongly believe that I am trying to be optimistic, and I am that coming also and seeing other areas, other countries, beautiful as Greece, with great real potential. I'm working on having my life here for more than 2 decades. I'm considering myself Romanian, half Romanian, because I want to grow here, and I'm seeing this. Yes, this is an optimism I'm showing, because I do believe that the country is going towards the correct direction.
Well, on this hand, we agree. So I'm also a firm believer in Romania. I think we're great. We're doing an amazing job. The human resource here is unbeatable, and at the end of the day, it is the fabric of the society and the hardworking people that offer the very successful recipe for all the companies who are coming to work here. I did complain a little bit about the situation with the city halls, but if we compare ourselves with what Alex just said, so 20 years, we're definitely doing much better than that. And also, if you look at from an investor hat, you will still have options to. So when we put on our investor hat, we will still have properties that are relevant and interesting in Bucharest. But for what we saw in the past, the developer hat, in which a developer bought land, built, sold in a decent amount of time. I think that's very difficult to do now.
So you go back.
Yeah, go back book, we developed the cat galleries from zero to leasing to the icons and also to the non galleries. So I can say that indeed there are hiccups in the process, there are bottlenecks, but fortunately we are developing at the national level. So we are not dependent on the Bucharest side. But we are trying permanently to adapt and to align our pipeline of projects at the national to rapidly grow, and we have to align our strategy by being permanently adapted and with our eyes wide open to the legislative changes in order to conclude and to implement all our projects in due time and also to deliver them to the tenants. But indeed, we have to be fully adaptable and to be focused on each deadline, on our timelines.
I recognize I develop more in Bucharest and Constanța, so I do not have, let's say, experience to the national level. Which is, from your point of view, the better area regarding permitting?
There is no better area from my experience.
No, because I heard that in Oradea you can obtain a building permit even in 7 days. So
You can get surprises from the smallest city in the negative point of view, and you can be surprised from larger cities as well. So we encountered problems, issues, and delays from small counties, and we obtained permits in large counties. So as in Info, where we developed this year, we opened our first store, and new to this store, we developed this next year, non-commercial area. And we obtained authorizations really fast. And for area, usually there is no problem. So we had that good experience from the company.
So it depends from probably people work in each city hall, because at the end of the day, the person beside the desk is the person who is.
Do you mind if I add my 2 cents on this situation? Can I add 2 cents on this discussion? I just want to bring it back to the previous discussion regarding the legislation. So, we're all developers. We all have kef de munca. We all want to come to work and make a bunch of money and build as much as we possibly can every year. That's obviously all of our goals. But I have a different perspective here. My family's been in Romania almost 20 years here. And we originally come from North America. My mom's from Chicago. My dad's from Toronto. I'm from Toronto. And I've seen the effects of real estate being unaffordable for young people. And my greatest fear is that if the government of Romania continues, or mainly in Bucharest, continues to be not pro-development, what the long-term impacts are going to be on the ability for young people to buy and afford real estate. I've seen the effects. It's not good for any society when young people cannot afford to rent or to buy real estate, and that's my greatest fear. Is that for us, we have a project in the middle of Sector 2. It's a beautiful project. We have a building permit. We're building. For us, it actually somehow almost is a benefit that it's difficult to get a building permit because we're the only ones that actually have one. But that's not our goal. It's not we want to live in Romania for many, many years to come. I plan to have kids and get married and live in Romania. I speak Romanian. And I want Romania to remain a beautiful country that we can all enjoy. And if we have a government that is not pro-development and does not allow for top-ranking developers to build high-quality developments in Bucharest, there will continue to be a lack of stock of real estate, especially residential, and that will push prices up even further and make it less and less affordable year after year. So I think it's really important that I'm also very integrated in the permitting process. I've sat down many times with all these different institutions, DSP, CERE, ISU, ISC, name them, I've been there. There's a lot of work to do. I can say that with confidence. There's a lot of work to do. It's a very paper-intensive process. There's a lot of gray area in the process. And when there's gray area, there's debates and there's negotiations and there's lawyers, and that slows down the process even further. There's documents that go missing. You just can't find them. So the process needs to be improved. We need to, develop not only as a nation, but also, as a society, and in terms of permitting, that's also applied. But that's my greatest fear, is what happens if we continue at this pace. Development is not prioritized in the city. People cannot afford apartments long term.
It seems that people from government, they think about it, and 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, they approved an emergency ordinance. We will see if it will be approved by the parliament, because they should approve it at the end of the day. From my point of view, I don't think, but we will see. This will help a little bit, this process regarding all the approvals, HRA, ISU, whatever. But on the other hand, from my point of view, I think it will open the door for people who want to build not respecting the law. Yeah, this here we should work, and maybe the government should think about it. Yes, Alex.
I completely agree with Daniel that indeed it could be an issue. It is an issue wherever young people are not able to afford buying a home, and I understand your background and I know clearly much better than the other side of the ocean what has happened. However, I believe strongly that Romania today houses are still very affordable. I have seen the construction cost increasing, and I see it as an issue, and I believe it will be increasing also due to the war that Manuel said earlier as well. However, affordability issue, if we compare peer cities within Europe, what's happening in Bucharest, being a very dead city, the real demand, the basis of the real end users and families, we have sold more than 95% of our clients going users. And I'm seeing actually more than 10,000 families that we have talked to, their actual needs and willingness to live in a better environment, to live in a community neighborhood that we were also doing in recent Romania, in Canada, US, surely with the neighborhoods, with this freedom that today is not happening. And I believe that this really need, together with the place prices, I do believe that affordability is not currently an issue.
Yep, I totally agree.
It's a nightmare for everybody. You see prices increasing, and then clearly we are all developers in this room with the long run, and we are looking towards the big picture, not very short term of profitability. But as long as the real demand is there, I believe that affordability is not an issue. Going back to what you said earlier, that has to do with the people and the person behind the cashier in each municipality. It clearly is the case. But at the same time, I do believe it's also very often the case on the type of the product that the developer is depositing. What type of papers, what type of plans, what type of cookies asking, what type of what. I'm not saying, don't take me wrong, that especially Bucharest, this has been the issue, that's why they were decreasing, rejecting, and rejecting, and again rejecting. But very often we have been seeing that many of us, as developers, we have been trying to maximize coefficients, we have been trying to maximize, and I believe that it's also healthy for us to see, because I believe that we will be having a better product, perhaps even with our projects, it will be easier, faster sold, in better pricing than the competition. And yes, clearly, imagine a building, I could be building almost 3 times what I'm building number 4, much bigger building. It would be another product. I don't know permitting-wise how well it would be anticipated from the other side. And it's also part of what we are depositing oftentimes. So I believe that we try to find the balance, and clearly, authorities-wise trying to find their balance very often, we would have a very good picture.
For this reason, I fully agree with you. I saw for the last period a lot of projects, and you are right, Alex. A lot of owners, landowners, try to maximize the good, try to obtain the biggest profit on that project. But for this reason, I was thinking, and I was talking earlier about the urban planning, because this can be fixed with a clearly legislation, with the urban planning, and we do not have this. This is the issue here in Bucharest, because Mr. Nicușor tried to I don't know how to say it, because now he's the president.
Careful.
No, but he blocked everything. But even if he blocked everything in Bucharest, I saw a lot of construction who doesn't, let's say, they do not respect the legislation. Okay, so at the end of the day, maybe it's better for our authorities to try to implement an urban regulation for everyone, because then you will know what you have to do, and maybe you will do it accordingly with the law. Yeah. So because we have only a few moments till the end, I will put a last question for all of you, because you have here a lot of business in Romania, and I hope you will still be here in Romania for the following years. What is your long-term vision for the Romanian real estate market by 2030? And what key reforms or innovation will be needed to go there, to get there, sir?
I will start. So here we can connect your question to the ECG principles, because from our point of view, at our group, we try to be pioneers in the ECG. Even if in our group we are not, we don't have mandatory to apply the ECG principles. At the group level, we started to evaluate at the group level the hookup of companies that are available from the point of view when we want to public our first sustainability reports for 2025 along with our financial reports. Also, from the point of view of the commercial galleries and the anchor galleries, we are trying to build, because we also have a construction company, we try to build having in mind, always having in mind the eligibility criteria for LEED certification and for the ECG principles in order to be compliant with this. From our point of view, from the purpose of being the landlord with an asset base, it was previously discussed with a valuable asset from the point of view. Also for our tenants will be more desired that gallery, that location from the operating cost. From our financiers, because we are taking finance from banks in Romania, the cost of financing increases, and also from our potential investors for commercial galleries, there is an increase in the yield that we can obtain and sell the galleries. So in a nutshell, I can say that the ECG principles are the drivers until 2030 in Romania for improving our type of construction and our type of development in the country. Regarding taking into account also the local regulations, we have to take into account also this regulation, but from our own benefit. Also, the fact that we are supporting the communities from the social, the S from the ECG, supporting the communities in developing, in creating indirectly workers and increasing unemployment in the area and paying taxes to the local communities, that areas will be developed. So, as concluding, taking into account these principles, we can really develop the country at the national level by being resilient and focused on sustainability and on progress, not only as a text or as a certificate that we want to have on our wall, but really being involved in improving what we have.
Thank you very much. Michaela?
So, the vision that we have for the next 5 years is best encapsulated in what we want to do with the office building that is currently under construction. So, to give you a glimpse, this is a 30,000 square meter office building that has 2,500 square meters of green area. And this green area is not just a randomly put few grass roofs and so on. It is a very complex green area that has over 10 functions for people to use every day. So our vision is that the office space should improve the quality of life of the people that come there. And if it doesn't do that, then there's no point in going to the office. So, and we go very deep into details. There's functions outside in the green area for the people to enjoy. There's also a lot of functions inside. We look at the quality of lighting in the building that can help people's sleep cycles. I see a lot of people wearing Aura rings, so I presume everyone is calculating their REM sleep and so on. So the new building that we're working on is definitely going to help with that. As I said, we have special lighting. It's called circadian lighting that we're included in the building. There are plenty gym options that we want to do in the exterior and also in the interior. The ground floor area is super curated, so you don't have to eat maybe unhealthy if you come to work. You will have a plethora of healthy options. So this is the quality of the vision that we have for us. This is what our vision looks like. So we want to see this building into fruition, and we want to see people really enjoying, because we believe in the office space. So we think companies benefit from people coming to the office. We think people benefit personally from going into the office because it develops. You develop as a person, you develop by encountering new situations, by solving problems together, by exposing yourself to synergies. So we believe in the office space, but it has to make sense. So it has to make your life better. And it won't happen if you ask people to spend 4 hours in commute. And one of the questions that you said in Manila was about infrastructure. And normally infrastructure is a subject that logistics developers would have more to speak about. But this time, it really played a very key role for us as well, because our office building is within steps away from Gara Basarab. Gara Basarab, which is part of a very ample project of helping people come into the city by train. You probably have heard of it. There's a joint venture between the Ministry of Transportation and the City Hall that wants to make Gara Basarab the gateway to get into the city from the outskirts. So people like from maybe your area or other residential areas that are not very coveted, because you get a very a better residential experience just outside of Bucharest. Now, you don't have to choose between staying at home or commuting for 2 hours. You can just hop on a train. Just to give you an example, if you were to get on a train from Bucharest train station, you would be in Gara Basarab, which is a baby train station. It's smaller than Gara del Nord. It's very easy to get in and get out, very hassle-free. It's just 4 platforms. It will take you about 10 minutes to get there, and that's unbeatable by car. And this was a key factor when the company decided to invest the money here. So this is our vision. It involves people going to work happily and paying rent. So hopefully, so help us God, we'll see it happen.
Thank you very much, Nika. Alex?
Being very clear, my vision is clear regarding a sustainable community. I believe sustainability is a must. Whoever in this room will not be following sustainability criteria problem 2030 that you mentioned, he will not be actually in this room, because he will be business wise alike. We received as was announced recently the first in Europe platinum level leads regarding our project under forest and community. Hopefully 2030 will not be our second, but there will be many more having received the similar type of eligibility and certifications. And I do believe that community-wise, being either a project out of the city limits or within the city limits, different type of community, but a 360 degrees ecosystem that is actually understanding the needs of the people living within that project, being it, of course, residential, being it commercial, being it offices or a hotel or entertainment and other types of facilities, but understanding the actual needs of the people, creating a proper, live, and happy community, being sustainable is what I'm looking for 2030. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex. I love your project. I live in a very good area, so but otherwise your project is very, very good.
We are very active in our vision for 2030. As I said, we aim to double our portfolios of plants. We expect to have a well-performing and sustainable market, and this means, as I said, faster permitting, means better infrastructure, means energy-efficient type of products. What we bring to the table, we bring the long-term capital, we bring local expertise, and for sure there's a lot of room for growth to create convenience-based retail for secondary and tertiary cities in Romania, and that's our goal.
Thank you very much. Victor?
Well, in the following years, also we are planning to at least double, triple or more than that, the numbers of the units we've already developed in the last year, and that's a number around 1,000. In the next year, we will have at least more than 1,000 or more than that to develop and to deliver, of course. What keeps in our mind, of course, it's in matters of all of our developments, it's implementing correctly ESG and sustainability. More than that, if sustainability is done right, it's not just a cost. It's a long-term, it's a 100% value multiplier. That's, of course, when it comes to tight budgets, this is the first item to be discussed, unfortunately. Yes, but I do still believe that projects with good layouts, with not bubbles around Bucharest, but well-connected projects like we do, will grow and will be very good means of resilience. Therefore, I think that's it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. So,
Now you have a lot of projects.
what do I have?
I know that you have a lot of projects here.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so we obviously love Bucharest. We've been here for 20 years. We have several projects here in Bucharest, and we plan to develop a lot in the next coming years. We've had opportunities to work outside of Bucharest, but we don't want to do that. We fully believe in Bucharest and the future of Bucharest. We've also seen how the market's evolved over the past 20 years. I mean, you can't just go ahead and build some random two-room apartment with no facilities, no features, no facilities, nothing. You can't do that anymore. It doesn't pass. So the market is showing signs of development. The buyers are demanding more out of the developers and out of the product that they're buying. They want to know exactly how things are being built. I get questions on a daily basis from my sales team, and they're asking me all different types of questions about hydro isolation and what type of material we're using here and there, and very detailed questions that we never used to get. So this is a sign of progress. This is a sign of a market that is developing. ESG is obviously a new term that's being thrown around. This is, for the players in the market that want to gain the trust of buyers, which is more now than ever a huge factor in the decision-making process for any buyer, is the trust in the developer or the trust in whoever's doing the work, especially when it comes to pre-construction. All of these things are positive. So overall, just to conclude, I know we ran out of time here, we're very hopeful that, we're very optimistic of the development of Bucharest. We're keeping our fingers crossed to see, and hoping that the city is also going to be on our side in the next couple of years, and we're on the same page with them. I think that if the developers and the local government would get on the same side of the table, I think the future is even brighter, honestly, because we're open to investing in the community as well. We've also sat down with the mayor, and we're very, very comfortable with, taking some chips off the table and putting it into different areas all over the city. This is something we're very comfortable doing. So, yeah, we love Bucharest. The future is very bright, and that's it.
Okay, so it seems that we are more than 45 minutes talking. Thank you very much for all of you, and hoping that I will see you next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love the father's closing remarks that they love Bucharest and the future is bright. I think we can all agree. Just a short wrap up from